First off, I know I'm really late to this party, so forgive me, but 3 years ago, right-wing outlet The Daily Wire released a documentary made by devout Catholic Matt Walsh called What is a Woman? Having clearly lost the battle to keep gay people down and out, folks like Matt needed another target for their projected self-loathing, and thus have turned to yet another historically oppressed group of people, the trans community. Folks like Matt really love to kick people when they're down. Full disclosure, I have not watched the documentary, as I refuse to give my time and attention to anyone who continues to support the most evil organization in human history, the Catholic Church. I don't watch content from Nazis, white supremacists, or Celine Dion fans either. But in researching this piece, I did find this interesting bit from a speech Matt gave at a school board meeting in Virginia. Quote, "You are all child abusers. You prey upon impressionable children and indoctrinate them into your insane ideological cult, a cult which holds many fanatical views, but none so deranged as the idea that boys are girls and girls are boys," end quote. So at least Matt and I agree that it's wrong to prey upon impressionable children and indoctrinate them into insane ideological cults with fanatical views. Of course, I think it's far more deranged to allow pedophile priests to escape justice, or for Matt's church to have been in bed with the Nazis. I also think it's far more deranged to teach children that they are guilty of some sin committed by others long ago, which automatically makes them deserving of endless torture in the pit of hell. But that's just me. What puzzles me most about Matt and his documentary is that he apparently spends all kind of time and resources going all over the place asking people what is a woman, when he, as a make-believing Catholic, has God's answer right there in his holy book. So holy. A woman is first and foremost a helper to man, to men, made from the rib of a man who was made from the dust of the ground. According to Matt's holy book, a woman is who broke God's paradisical garden in Eden, ushering in evil and suffering for not just the human race, but for all sentient creatures. She alone, not the man, was deceived and transgressed God's command. Women were then cursed by God with painful childbirth, and thereafter made to desire their husbands and be ruled over by them. So Matt, a woman is primarily a subservient baby maker. But that's really the least of it, because according to Matt's holy book, a woman can also be a bit of a cash cow. First, by selling one's daughters off as slaves, where they'll become the forever property of the men who buy them. Or, second, by selling one's daughters off in marriage, possibly to men who've just raped them, who will then have to pay the full bride price as if they're still virgins. Once married, then the men can continue to rape the women for the rest of their lives together. Beautiful stuff in that holy book. So holy. Of course, if you're gonna sell your daughters off in marriage, you'd better make sure they're all bona fide virgins, right? Because according to Matt's holy book, women who don't bleed on their wedding nights will have to be put to death. That's right, despite the all-knowing God of the universe understanding that not all women will bleed their first time. That's the test God set up to discover a woman's virginity. So a woman, Matt, according to your holy book, is also a systemic victim of injustice, along with the rapey bride kind of slavery thing. But it doesn't stop there, does it? Virgin girls have yet another way to be rape married. Attractive young virgin girls can be discovered during a battle, taken captive, brought home, given 30 days to mourn the massacre of their family and their people more broadly, and then rape married to the man who murdered their family. And if the man discovers that this raped woman is not the right piece of ass for him, he cannot sell her. Totally fair, right? So Matt, a woman, according to your holy book, is also a potential prisoner, whose family you can kill before you rape marry her. Women, Matt, are also people who, according to your holy book, just should not be listened to or hold authority in either church or domestic matters. Quote, I do not permit a woman to teach or to have authority over a man. She must be silent, end quote. Even now in 2025, Matt's church still will not allow women any position of authority in church leadership. But who can blame them, right? When the church and the men have been doing such a cracking job over the last 1,500 years with successes like the Crusades, the persecution of heretics either in conjunction with hundreds of years of Inquisition or not, various genocides all over the world, even as recently as the genocide in Rwanda, which in all fairness the church did apologize for. Hundreds of years of slavery, the Canadian Indian residential school system, the persecution of scientists, and the suppression of free inquiry, including the banning of books, imprisoning people for minor offenses, and relentlessly torturing prisoners. Witch hunts, the support of dictatorships and authoritarianism all over the world, including support for the Nazi regime. Thousands of years of anti-Semitism, leading to deportations, pogroms, and ultimately the Holocaust. Helping Nazis escape justice after the war. Keeping Jewish children who'd been baptized Catholic from being reunited with their Jewish families after the Holocaust. Forced conversions. The decimation of entire cultures, peoples, and languages. The various papal bulls that came to be known as the Doctrine of Discovery, which permitted Christians to, quote, invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue all Saracens and pagans whatsoever, and other enemies of Christ wheresoever placed. And let's not forget the unending sexual abuse scandals all over the world which have been going on for, well, Hitch knows how long. This included the systematic and perpetual hiding and reassignment of known pedophile priests. That's right, rather than turning these child rapists over to authorities, church authorities all the way up the chain had them moved around, where they eventually raped other children and then were moved around again to a new location where they could rape yet more children. No need to put women in positions of authority when the men have done such a spectacular job, am I right? If Matt really wanted to know the answer to his question, what is a woman? Why didn't he just look to his holy book and his church's teachings? Hell, we haven't even gotten into the church fathers and what they said about women. That's a whole nother can of worms. The answer is obvious, though, isn't it? According to Matt's holy book, the answer to his question, what is a woman, is not much. Unless, of course, you're looking for a slave or someone to rape marry. Once again, I'm me. Thanks for watching.